funny, y'all. It's Timothy. Does anyone else feel like they're losing their mind? I feel like I am. I felt this way, like, right before I met my boyfriend last year. And our anniversary is coming up. God bless. But I know deep down it's just because I feel lonely. Humans are social creatures. Autism be damned. I like having conversations with people. I like talking with them and interacting with them, even though I also really loathe people. And sometimes I hate that feeling of when you first meet someone you don't know the specific way to act, because first impressions are everything. And because some people will just have like their first impression of you like cemented in their mind no matter what, which I always found pretty stupid. I always saw it as like, oh hey, maybe this person isn't like brooding and awful and horrendous and emotionless. Maybe they just don't know me yet, and they're just a little nervous and they have anxiety or whatever. Or maybe they just have resting bitch face or whatever. So that, and like, hell, I know how that is. Kids in school used to be like, oh, I bet she's a bitch. I bet she's stuck up. She seems like she's like just rude as fuck, I bet. I bet she just hates all of us. Whole time, if you were to go up to any of those kids and be like, okay, so you say you think you know that kid off the bat. Can you tell me that student's name? Can you tell me like any single one of her hobbies or interests? Have you even had a conversation with her? Have you ever sat next to her even? Have you ever, even been in the presence of her, like actual presence of her for like longer than a single minute? Or are you just projecting onto her how you feel? And that is something I cannot stand. I've always hated that in people. And it would be funny because eventually those same people who spent years like trying to like torment me, mock me, insult me, boast me, and just be like ableist as fuck, homophobic, all this shit. Eventually they would meet me and then they'd be like, oh shit, Tamia, you're actually cool. You kind of the shit. No shit. I've been the shit this whole fucking time. You just didn't bother to have a conversation with me and decided that spreading rumors about me and trying to shit down my throat, metaphorically, was the move. Like, yes, I've been cool this whole time. And I hate it. And I just hate how confusing and stupid other people are. And I know you're thinking, Tamia, it's not doing you any favors if you're just saying, hey, I find people to be stupid and boring and grating and awful to be around. That's not really working in your favor for the whole I'm not a condescending evil cunt narrative. But I'll just say this. No matter what I do, people will kind of assume that. And that's a big reason why I hate people. They're unpredictable, especially neurotypical people. Because it's so weird. People act like I'm the weirdo. They always act like I'm the weirdo. Like, I'm at work and I'll just see people and I'll be like, I'll wave at them hello. Because that's what I'm told to do. And these motherfuckers will have the weirdest reactions. They'll just, like, come out of fame and then just, like, be walking. They see me. And they just make eye contact. Get closer to me. Totally stoic face. They give me the face of like I'm some sort of, like, fucking racist. Or like I'm someone that killed their dog in front of them or fucked their grandmother. They'll just death stare me down with total eye contact walking towards me and then just stare at me as they walk past. And it's like, that's so weird because I feel like it takes more energy to just decide I'm going to assert dominance over this person by just showing them how much they mean nothing to me versus like the little half second of like, it's such a big difference. Why are you being weird? I hate weird people. And I hate it because it's like, oh, so I have to do all this shit about masking and trying to seem as normal as possible for some weird bitches. Like, I remember in high school, this new kid, like, came to school, whatever. He ended up being some sort of, like, the typical teenage boy in fucking my city. Racist, misogynistic, ableist, and also really fucking ugly. Just no redeemable qualities. But back then I thought, oh, okay, this is Muhammad or whatever. And it's like, hey, Muhammad, like, I was just trying to be like, oh, okay, he just got into school. Let me, like, try and, like, talk to this nigga. I'd be like, oh, hi, so where'd you come from? And then they'd just be like, the next city over. Oh, cool, so what do you like to do for fun? Cisco. Oh, okay, that's cool. So how are you liking the school so far? Do you have any friends or got any plans for like what you're gonna do after school? No. And they always have that stank ass attitude. And this one stank bitch, who ironically has had a similar incident with me. She was just sitting next to me doing that little smug ass type of like, what the fuck she doing type of reaction. What do you think I'm doing? I am socializing. I am trying to make a friend here. I don't get you people. But that same bitch is also a weird bitch, because I could literally just leave the restroom, like the public fucking restroom at school. I could walk out the restroom and I wouldn't even look at that bitch. Like, or at least it's like one of those like 0.2 second looks where it's like, oh, like you just see like, oh, someone's standing near the sink. I'm not gonna look at them any other way, because why would I look at people who I don't fucking know? That's something else I don't understand about neurotypical people. Why do you like looking at each other so much? So much. But let me hold on. I'm gonna finish this first rant before I go into that. I could just leave a bathroom, and then this bitch, like, I hate those bitches that, like, you'll look at them for not even, like, half a second even. You'll, like, not hardly even glance in their direction, and they just do or they'll just, like, snarl. She does this. I hate bitches who do ugly faces. I'm not, like, honestly, I have a lot of fucked up shit that I've done in my lifetime. But I hate a very attractive young lady, or just person in general, who ruins their fucking good looks by making ugly faces. She did that shit that I can't even mock the face she made, because I don't know how to do ugly stank bitch faces, and I feel so bad when people learn from their environment or upbringing how to do stank ugly faces. Like, I don't know, she was doing that, like, this top, I don't know, like, bottom lip down, she was doing, like, that type of snarl and, like, glare at me. And I'm just thinking, bitch, why are you making the face of, like, a wild dog that's, like, about to slaughter and attack me? Whole time, I'm not even looking your way. Like, my thought process was, leaving the bathroom, someone standing near it, I'm gonna reach over, grab the soap, washing my hands. Whole time, this bitch is just literally staring me down, up and down, doing the little lip thing, acting stank as fuck. And it's like, bitch, I have not interacted with you ever, weirdo. Like, I don't know, I just hate it, because, like, having autism just means, especially as a black person, and I'm not gonna say, I don't want to use words like ghetto or hood, because I don't really believe in those words. Plus, I feel like they're kind of racist, and they have racist undertones, even though we understand what they mean. So I'll just say, like, if you grow up in a certain environment, you just know everyone around you is going to be, like, super defensive, hostile, and all this shit. And so you can imagine how confusing that is when you've really grown up, like, thinking, I watch a lot of Disney Channel and iCarly. Life's supposed to be fun. And then you get bitches, like, being hostile as fuck off the bat, and you ain't even do shit. I don't get it. I don't understand a lot of these people. I don't understand a lot of people on this planet. That's exactly why I support, like, people healing whatever they learned in their fucking childhood. Like, you know, I used to be fucking an angry kid too. Not very different from the other angry kids I knew, but I wouldn't go out of my way to harass people, right, me on the internet. And then once I actually looked inward and was like, oh shit, I'm just mad because I hate my fucking life, and I'm getting bullied at school, and my mom is abusive, and no one's doing shit to stop any of it, and I don't understand other people. Once you look inwards to, like, why you do a bunch of the shit you do, life gets so much easier. Since then, you can resolve it. I don't like people who just go their whole life, like, being self-destructive or going out their way to make other people uncomfortable, or even ruining situations that didn't need to be ruined in the first place. It just sabotages shit. It stops the world from progressing. I hate it. I'm very pro open-minded everything, because I feel like a big way to get the world to understand each other is by being understanding. What's, like, if you just keep, I don't know, why would you go out your way to be, like, on the offense? Like, fuck you, get away. If anything, I'm like, hey, you seem kind of different. Come here. Come talk to me. Why you like that? I'll tell you why I'm like the way I am. I'm like that because I want to make sure that no more people come out weird or feel weird for things that are entirely normal. And I got anxiety because too many people treat me like a weirdo for shit that makes perfect sense to me. And I'll meet other autistic people, even just other people in general, and they'll be like, yeah, that makes perfect sense. Like, for example, I could walk down the street and just, like, be like, oh, I'm walking down the street, not looking at anybody, looking at crosswalks, looking at the street, looking at my destination and where I'm gonna go. I'm wearing my headphones, vibing, and I'm not even dancing, but, you know, I'm being satirical. I'm walking down the street, vibing. And then some people will get an attitude with me because I don't look their way. Like, I know that whenever it's, like, a man or whatever, it's just them being upset that I'm not treating them desirable. Boo-hoo, nigga! Oh well. But I don't know, in high school that was always annoying as fuck. Cause then it'd be bitches who would be like staring you down in the hallways. And then it's like, okay, so if I don't look at them, they're gonna be angry and think that I'm stuck up, rude, and ignoring them. If I do look at them, they're not, and I'm like, hi, or I wave or something, they're not gonna respond. They're just staring to stare. And then if it's like, okay. And then if I just stare back, then it's like, so it's like, I don't know. Sometimes I get weirded out by that shit. So I kind of get why some people are on the offense about like staring problems or like weirdos. I don't know. I think the world's just full of so many fucking weirdos. So maybe I should feel less bad about who I am, really. Damn, this video kind of, I guess it's more of like a train of thought video. Just, I don't know. Just imagine you walk down your school hallway and you're like, okay, so I have to avoid like at least 3 different girls who I semi-know but don't really know staring me down. If I wave at them, they're not going to wave back. If I ignore them, they're just going to stare harder or even gossip and say that I'm stuck up. And just, there's no way to make them happy. I wave, they do nothing. I look at my destination, they make me uncomfortable by staring. I look back, they don't do shit. They just stare. And like mean mug. Or like have that little smirk on their face. I never understand. I don't know. I don't get a lot of people like that. Let's see. But originally the topic of this video is going to be, I feel like I'm lying to people sometimes whenever I act a certain way because I feel like it's not genuine. But I guess this video also turned into, why do I even care? So many people on this planet are weird and strange and do a bunch of strange things that don't make sense. I don't understand why people do the things they do. So honestly, there's no impressing anybody. I could be cheery, I could be gloomy, I could be laid back and reserved, I could be outgoing and shutting my ass off. And at the end of the day, someone could still be like, oh, that bitch talks too much, or that bitch talks too little. Fuck that bitch. How dare she, like, ignore us, even though I'm not ignoring them. They, like, people would be like, oh, she's a stuck-up bitch. My brother in Christ, you have never held a conversation with me. You haven't talked to me because you don't like how I look or how I act. And I haven't said or done shit. So you're literally beefing with a one-sided beef with someone who's in the corner of the classroom on their phone looking at Tumblr memes like, haha, fucking stick bug, hee. And you're out there like, that bitch is stuck up. I bet that bitch has issues. She is fucked in the head. Whole time I'm just looking at fucking, I don't know, pay memes. I'm not doing shit. And yet, oh, okay, it's just hate to me today. Oh, okay. I don't like these fucking people. I don't like talking to people at all. So I guess at the end of the day, you can't really impress anybody. If you talk too much, they'll say you're a tryhard who wants too much attention, which I have been called, which is very funny, because I really don't want attention like that. Not really. Yeah, I don't. If you talk too little, they'll also say that you want attention, even though that doesn't make sense. If I'm not talking, it's because I'm minding my business. It does not mean I'm trying to be all, ooh, I'm so shy. Look at me, I'm so shy and fertile and submissive. I need someone to hold my hand and talk to me. It would be nice if someone did. But sometimes it's like, I just like to mind my business. I like to do shit by myself. I don't like to talk to anybody. And of course, if someone talks to me, I'll be like, oh, hey, what's up? Because that's just who I am. I hate people who have like these ingrained mindsets to like be on the offense about other people. Like, why do you want to fight me? We haven't even talked. You don't know my name. We don't even share classes together. Who the fuck are you? Beefing with me. And so, you know. So, but otherwise, I try to be mainly open about the type of person I am. Just so people get it. Like, you know, I like, if anything, I appreciate the people who just hear the, like, most unhinged shit about me. And decide, yeah, I'm gonna stick around her. And I really fuck with people like that. If anything, I like the type of people where it's like, no matter how they act off the bat, they aren't gonna let their like ingrained like mindsets or like projection or fears or whatever get in the way of seeing a person for who they are at face value. Like, and that's what I like. And I think that's why I usually draw a lot of people who don't open up about their life very often, like the secluded types or the reserved types or the jokester types who actually have like a lot of issues underneath. Because and it's kind of tragic. I've talked about it in other videos, but the type of people who will just be like, oh, hey, to me, you seem very cool. I think I can tell you this. And then it'll be like, we've only been talking for like 30 minutes, and they'll just say some of the most unhinged secrets ever. I've heard a lot of fucked up shit, but some of that shit doesn't really make me flinch. I once had a guy be like, "Oh yeah, I almost sexually assaulted a chick, just because I could have. She was drunk and I could have gotten away with it, but I didn't because I think it would have been fucked up morally, and I feel like a bad person sometimes." And I told him I think that was just like an intrusive thought, and thank you for not doing that. If anything, you're probably a better person because you had the urges and the weird fantasy, but didn't. But then again, I was like 18 and that dude was like 23, and he later did. It's a long story. I'll just say I was a dumb teenager who was just like, I didn't know how to process that shit, and I was just like, well, you didn't. Good job. Even though that's not really something you don't deserve a fucking trophy over it, but I'll at least be like, hey, at least you didn't do it. And it was an intrusive thought anyway. I have a lot of fucked up intrusive thoughts, so I'm more chill on people about that. And whenever, like, I also support people asking me questions about shit that they don't understand. Like, whenever someone is like, oh, what's autism? I don't know what that is because they grew up in, like, fucking Alabama or whatever, and they don't know what the fuck autism is. I'll just explain it in, like, the best terms possible. I'll be like, oh, here's what sensory overload is. Let's see, you get stressed out in crowds of people, too much noise, all that. And they'll be like, oh, hell yeah, brother, I see what you mean. And then they'll explain that since they moved from like Alabama to California, they realize everywhere is fucking crowded with people and how they want to fucking kill themselves whenever they're around too much noise. And I'm like, that's pretty much one of our like traits or symptoms. That's a common autism thing. Or I'll explain it thoroughly to people because I want people to understand and be like scared of things. I think deep down, asking questions and answering them is the best way to get people less afraid of things and to understand multiple sides more. Like, once this dude, he was like Irish or whatever, he was like, oh, I have he basically tried to ask a question, but he didn't mean it offensively, or at least so what I thought. He was basically asking something about oppression Olympics. Like, oh, so who do you think was, like, why do black people try to say that they were oppressed more than the Irish? Like, weren't we also enslaved? And then I had to explain to him the difference between, like, indentured servitude and starvation and, like, intense dehumanization. And I had to be like, oh, we both were dehumanized and treated like shit. I guess it's the difference between, like, treating the Irish as, like, still humanish, but still, like, starving them, treating them like shit, like, basically treating them like actual slaves. And then the other one treating more like cattle that you could breed over and over again and make more of and sell to other countries, or like rapeable objects that you could also make furniture out of. And then once he understood that, he was like, oh shit, I didn't know all that, because sometimes people don't be knowing shit, and I like to tell them. And I was like, yeah, that's the main difference. Like, they're both dehumanizing as fuck, but it's just like, I'm sorry your people got starved to death and that they really fucked y'all up and still are to this day. They're also doing that to black people, so if anything, we should also have like an alliance and just understand that despite our differences, the main common is the fucking British or the white people. Sorry, I'm half joking, but I'm also very serious because, yeah, fuck them. Moving on. Also, moving on. I remember I was on a date with a sugar daddy, and he was just like, oh, so what do you think? It was also similar to the conversation I had with Irish dude, because I also had to, some people just don't get taught shit, and that scares me. And that's why I heavily believe in, like, being open with, like, everything, because some people want to know information, like, and I wish I knew certain things, like, how else are we supposed to be progressing if, like, some of us are over here, some of us are way far back, and then some of us are, like, I don't know, in a whole fucking different genre of, like, knowledge. We gotta teach each other shit sometimes. But he understood. He was like, oh, yeah, okay, I get this shit. And then I told him about Emmett Till, because he didn't know what fucking Emmett Till was, or what happened to that kid. And he was like, holy shit. And that woman just never got arrested? She never got arrested. Is she still alive to this day? She's still alive to this day. Has grandkids and everything who are alive and probably learned the shit she did. And just excuse her racism and then continue to be racist themselves for generations. It's a cycle. It just never stops unless you really nip shit in the bud. And then they're like, oh shit. And that's how I'm like, some people got on my side because of that. Moving on. Also, date with the sugar daddy, basically similar concept. He was like, why do you think black people haven't progressed? And when I was like, oh, because of like slavery and like segregation stuff, he kind of was like, I see. And then I had to be like, I see that. I saw that look you did. And he's like, what look? And I said, the exact look you did. I'm calling you out on it because I just saw you do it. And I'm just letting you know that's a bad shit move to do. And he was like, oh, I'm sorry. That was my bad. here, I'll listen to what you have to say. And I explained A to Z, basically just a nutshell about how, hey, you know, treating people like dehumanizing as fuck, like cattle, vapable objects, like, you know, basically slaves, bang maids, just like something you can fuck with all you want, breed, just like an insane amount of dehumanization. That shit just didn't go away once they went, okay, you're not a slave anymore, here's your papers. No, they actively worked for generations to stop black people from actually succeeding, from, like, you know, having the businesses they wanted, having the land, having the property. They never got reparations and shit. And so it's like, okay, of course you're gonna fucking struggle. And then they kept doing, and then I had to basically explain a whole bunch of other shit until they eventually got the point of, oh shit, you're right. Oh yeah. And then it's like, yeah, some of these people just really don't think long run about, oh yes, this is what happens to, like, yeah, those racist slave owners had kids who then just went around bragging like, we used to own you in the past or whatever. Who then went on to have other kids who just, you know, called people the N-word nonstop. Who then had more kids, and then those kids also are now, you know, do I even have to explain further? I like to think I've gotten my point across. Basically, lo and behold, intensely dehumanizing people for fucking 100 to 200 fucking years or more led to, like, still ingrained disrespect to this day. Even in the smallest forms that can just lead up and build up to extreme amounts of racism. This video is a little off topic, but I know I haven't made a video in a while, and I felt like doing one because I was feeling not great today. Excuse me. But yeah, I believe in being an open book and just, like, you know, people tell me things, even like whether I want to hear them or not. I know a lot of people's fucked up secrets. Like, you know, this one dude told me about how he wanted to bang his younger cousin, and it was like, okay. Thanks for sharing that. Like, you know, it's like kind of hard to figure out the basis of like what's weird or not. Like, you'd be surprised how many friends I've had that have been like, oh hey, I fucking want to get the fucking horsecock dildo from dragondildos.com, and then they've meant that unironically, and it's like, oh, okay, there's other people like you out there. So I guess that's inspiring, because I know no matter how weird I am or how insane and unhinged I am, I always know there's crazier. Like, you know, there's whole serial killers who have cults and shit, and like people bailing them out of jail and seeing them as redeemable. Are they redeemable? Probably fucking not, at least in my eyes. And like a big number of them, pretty much, especially the rapist ones. Those ones can just die. But I also know that at the end of the day, you know, there's people who will love and appreciate me. I can be like, hey, just dumped out all the piss cups in my depression room, and they'll be like, good job. Thank you for speaking up about that. I'll be like, hey, I've gotten in multiple fights with men that have gone really fucking horrendously. And they'll be like, you know what, I fuck with you for being honest. Because it's like, I wouldn't want to be the... If anything, being honest also helps keep out the people that you, like, would not click with. And instead of just being surrounded by, like, artificial friends, I just wouldn't want that to happen. I want the friends who can just see me for who I am, as unhinged as possible, but still, like, loving and stuff. Like, at the end of the day, despite any information I tell them, they'll just be like, yeah, we noticed all that, we took it as it is at face value, we aren't projecting anything onto you, we just know that at the end of the day, you said all this crazy shit and we still care about you, love you, and we all have our flaws. As long as it's not like rape or murder, then it's like, you know, you're usually pretty redeemable, or just have some lessons to learn, I guess. So yeah, I guess moral of the story, yeah, it's better to be open about who you are. Because what would, like, being closed off get me? If anything, I hated being closed off and having people not know who I was. But once I realized that, you know, not everyone's worth impressing. And so if I'm myself, or if I'm the most, like, sterilized version of myself, like clean cut, posh looking or whatever, or like, you know, messy and non-intimidating, at the end of the day, someone's still gonna have a problem. And there's not much I can do except say, fuck that person and move on. Plus, not everyone's worth impressing. Not everyone's worth impressing, not everyone's worth getting to know. Some people are just shitheads. Like, that's why, you know, I hate going outside. I'll meet someone and just be like, this bitch is weird. They're staring me down in the street as if they've never seen a pair of legs before, and this skirt is like basically knee length. Or it'll be like, oh, okay, this person doesn't wave back when I say hello, which is weird because every sane person I know would just wave back hi because it's so easy to do and takes nothing. Or this person is going out of their way to be racist or like troll people who identify as queer. That's not wonderful. So sometimes people suck. And at the end of the day, all you can really do is go, do I suck? I'll hold myself accountable if I suck. And if I know I don't suck and I know I'm just trying my best, then the other person probably just sucks. And that's okay. I made this video because I guess I thought about offing myself. And before you go kill yourself. No, I'm not gonna do it. Calm down. It was just some thoughts. Oh, but I know I've just been having a lot of not so great thoughts. Because I don't know, I get tired of meeting people who are just weird and not in a way that makes sense. Like, I feel like I can handle lots of weird. Like, for example, I just told you about multiple examples. Like, friends who just would be like, yeah, I'd fuck a fucking horse cock dildo. Or, like, they'll tell me extremely weird or disturbing or gross things about themselves. And I'll be like, yeah, but that's still my homie. And they, like, I understand. People have flaws and stuff. The only weird I can't handle is, like, judgmental. Or like non-communication or like anger issues with no resolution. That pisses me off. Those are the only type of people I feel like I really can't stand. Because it's like you went out of your way to be snarky. You're hurting people and they did nothing to you. Like that's that weird shit that I can't handle. So yeah, that's what I say. That's just my thoughts on that. So, I guess instead of beating myself up because, oh, look, I tried to... Like, once this fucking idiot... I'm gonna say it, this fucking idiot... I remember we were in the middle of a conversation, and they were like, oh, like, they went from, like, super cheery to just, like, cold and hella hostile, like, in a split second. It was some stupid shit, like... I was like... They were like, oh, hey... what were you two up to yesterday? I was like, oh yeah, me and Liam my boyfriend was at the fair with me the other day. It was a whole bunch of fun, yada, yada, yada. And I didn't even say much. I just basically said, oh yeah, Liam went to the fair with me the other day. We had a lot of fun. And he was like, oh, okay, that's cool. And he went from beaming smile to like, oh yeah, you want to try some of this like cookie butter ice cream I got? It's dairy-free and gluten-free. And he was like, whoa, dairy-free ice cream? Yeah, sure, I'll try some of that. And he was seeming hella happy. And I said, oh yeah, could you believe I got this for free? It was amazing, bro. And then he went out of his way to like go from a smiling happy to just like, okay then. And then just rolled his eyes and then just proceeded to go back to being like cold to me. And then I remember that ended basically in me like walking down to the bottom of the hill, ice cream in hand. Still with my pajamas on, titties out. Or they were covered, but I wasn't wearing a bra. Thinking, damn. I can't go back in that house because I'm about to either scream my head off and call him a fucking cunt, or I might kill myself in front of them and change the course of their lives forever. And then I'm like, long story short, the guy I was seeing was just like, hey, how are you doing, sensitive girl? And I was like, I'm good. No, I'm not. And then we talked it out. And so now I just keep my distance from people like that, where it's like, okay, if they want to waste their time draining other people's energy, being on some weird shit, being unpredictable, they can do that. Just not in my fucking vicinity, because I don't like weirdos. I don't like weirdos. I don't like that unpredictable shit that, oh, something else pissed me off, but I'm going to make it your problem shit. And then that same person always gets talky whenever I don't talk to them. And it's like, oh, okay, so let me get, like, I don't know. My older brother used to do that stupid shit. I used to wave at him despite not even really liking him like that whenever he came home. I'd be like, oh, hello, like wave at him and smile. And he'd just look at me like, and then just like walk past. And he did that every fucking time. Then after like, months, a year of that shit, I just went, okay. Clearly he doesn't care and he's not interested in like any sort of positive dynamic with me. Why would I even bother? I should just stop waving, since it seems like that's what he wants. And then lo and behold, the second that every interaction is just like me in the living room on my phone, he enters, I look up, go back to my phone, he would just stare at me like I'm crazy. And then that happened maybe 6 times before suddenly my mom was like, okay, so your brother said that you aren't saying hi to him. What's up with that? And I just told her, oh, yeah, well, what? He doesn't say hi to me when he comes in the house either. And what, he never says hi back and doesn't seem to care. So why would I do it? And then she was like, okay, well, yeah, okay. Like, she didn't have shit to say because I don't like weird people who do weird shit. Yeah, this video is a little long, but I guess it's just a vent because I hate talking to people. I hate when I'm friendly to someone and they go out their way to be weird. I hate asking people like simple, innocent questions, even like the most harmless of questions that don't hurt anybody, with the most harmless of statements, and they go out their way to like roll their eyes, scoff, or just be snarky, just to later on tell me, oh yeah, that wasn't even you, girl, or oh, I wasn't mad at you, then stop acting mad. That's what I hate about being autistic, is that it feels like having a disability where you're rational, like you feel normal human emotions instead of just like hiding your intentions or like taking your anger out on other people and a whole bunch of weird shit, you know. I just don't understand that shit, frankly. Yeah, I think people like that are freak shows. And by that I mean like neurotypical people who refuse to work on their shit and make it everyone else's problem. Because it's like, oh, okay, you said I should be social, I'm socializing, and now you're being weird to me. Or you said I should ask questions to understand things, I ask questions to understand things, you treat me like shit. Okay. It's like, okay. I hate that shit. I hate people like that so much. Especially if it's like, if I'm asking you a question to make sure I'm understanding things, why are you being snarky and rude? Especially if my phrasing wasn't snarky or rude. I remember I was at this party. This chick, I think she was disabled or whatever, she said she was autistic. And I just simply asked, oh, hi, do you mind if I ask what autistic is? And then this bitch is just like, well, and then she just has the most like snarky attitude about it. Or I could be like going to the bus after work, and I could, like, there was a fucking marathon going of people in costumes running down the street. The block was closed off, and I just simply asked this dude without even touching him. I said, oh, excuse me, hi. I was just wondering, to make it to the bus station over there, like, are you able to just, like, walk through, or do I have to wait, or, you know, what's the protocol? And then he went out of his way to be like, ugh, well, you can just simply go past and go do it, and then you're there. And it's like, why are you being hostile to me, sir? I asked you a simple question. Shit like that is making me hot just thinking about, but it's okay, because all those people are ugly, and from the way things are going, they're either going to die alone or they're going to be bitchless forever. I hope those people die in a fucking car fire, viciously, melting skin and all, nothing but bones left for someone to find, and then those bones are thrown in the fucking garbage. That's what I want for those people. I'm sorry, I have rage issues. I'm an honest person. Moving on. Yeah, let me say something to make me feel better. Yeah, so I guess as long as I know that as I'm being myself, I'm not actively aiming to hurt anybody. Or at least for the most part. Like, you know, homicidal or intrusive thoughts aside, or like my past aside, I know that at the end of the day, no matter how quirky or weird or surreal I act, I know that at the end of the day, I mainly just want people to feel good and treat each other well. And that I can truly just not be a bad person despite feeling my feelings and thinking my thoughts and doing my little actions, because I know I'm trying my best. And that at the end of the day, if someone wants to be hostile to me unprovoked, or not bother to know me but assume they know me, and just like make, you know, preconceived assumptions, or treat me like shit because of just however, instead of learning and growing, that's okay. Or it's not, but it's okay, because I'll just know this person isn't for me. This person is destined to be some scumbag, and that's okay. I will just choose not to interact with them as much as possible, and I'll just know, okay, I'm not the whack bitch in this situation, I'm the bad bitch. That's all. Anyway, have a good day. My pussy is wonderful. I don't know, I just had to add that in. I'm ovulating. Pussy is wonderful. Mentally stellar alien superstar. Bye.